Hi guys. So I know I promised I wouldn't make any more trans videos, but I have to, especially with the way things are going lately. Um, just a disclaimer, so the people can understand, because there seems to be this severe lack of understanding, severe lack of education, and the severe lack of just general information about what transgender is, why it is what it is, and how it affects everybody else. So I'm just going to quickly go over that, and then I'm going to go into what my actual topic is. But I'm Catherine. I'm a transgender woman, meaning that I went from male to female. I'm still in transition. I've only been doing it for 21 months. I'm not wearing any makeup, so this is kind of how my face is without makeup. Yeah, got long hair. It's all natural. It's not a wig or anything. And yeah, I have things. They're real, and that they're all natural. They're not chemically enhanced. They're not surgically enhanced, which a lot of idiots like to accuse. I use a woman's room. I've been using a woman's room for over a year, and I've never once had an incident where somebody called me out, somebody pointed fingers, somebody gave me a dirty face or dirty look or anything. Never had that problem. I use the women's room to use the bathroom, wash my hands, touch up my makeup when I actually do wear makeup, dry my hands, put on some hand lotion because soap sucks and dries out your hands, and then go back to my business. That's what I do, and that's what everyone does. What kind of sucks, and the reason why I made this video is lately, there has been a pretty bad downfall in terms of progress for transgender rights. And I've been putting off making this video because it seems like on a daily basis there's something new that's like an even bigger story than the past. And I think that, I don't know, I get very upset. I really do. Because it's hard. It really is. It's hard to read these news stories and to hear these people speaking out about a subject that they don't understand, that they don't comprehend. And I think that no matter what you say or do, they're never going to understand. They're never going to change their viewpoint because they are too thick and set in their ways. And I have to say that a large portion of the problem comes from religion. And I know that there are a few people who subscribe to this channel who attack me every time I say something negative about religion. But understand it from my point of view. This whole Target fiasco, where there's over 500,000 people signing a petition which was started by the American Family Association, the AFA. Well, who's the AFA? The AFA is a conservative religious group that's an activist group. It's basically the anti-ACLU. That's what it is. It just takes, all they care about is the rights and freedoms of religion. But they go overboard. They go overboard because they try to push their religious beliefs. And beliefs are not facts. They try to push their religious beliefs onto others. And the fact that if I were to go to North Carolina right now, that I would be breaking the law by using a woman's room that I've been using for over a year now, it is just bullshit. And I didn't think it was going to happen. I don't know. Like, maybe I was just like in my own little world where I thought that bad things can't happen. But bad things did happen. That religious fundamentalists who believe that their way is the best way, that they believe that their form and their understanding of common sense is the only right way of common sense. But you know, there's a saying that my grandfather used to say all the time: common sense ain't so common anymore. Because if you truly had common sense, you would understand the issue that you're preaching common sense about, which these politicians, religious fundamentalists, conservative assholes, they don't do that. All they do is say, oh, I heard this on the news, I'm automatically an expert on this. That, oh, I heard it from a friend of a friend of a friend who knows a trans person, so I'm automatically an expert on this. And the problem is, even when you show them proof and you show them evidence, hard evidence, that what they're saying is wrong, they don't care. They will still fight to the death that their perspective and that their opinion is fact, and there's no changing it. But what sucks is how vocal they are. This whole don't allow men in women's spaces bullshit needs to end, because I'm not a man. And if you're going to say I'm a man, you're a fucking asshole. Because if you met me and knew me in person, you could never mistake me for a man. Yes, my voice is deeper, but there are women out there who have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Look it up. Basically what that means is they're essentially, they have the same symptoms of a trans person, where they have deeper voices, facial hair, they have a more masculine physique. They can't give birth to a child. They suffer other sort of problems. So they take hormone replacement therapy just like I do. So it's hard. It's hard to deal with this because, you know, what really sucks is people don't understand how ridiculous they sound when they make statements such as transgender people should use a separate bathroom. Right? Okay. If transgender people should use a separate bathroom, then I think African Americans should use a separate bathroom. Chinese people should use a separate bathroom. White people should use a separate bathroom. But you see, I'm wrong for saying that. But that's exactly what people are saying when they're saying that transgender people should go in their own bathroom. Why should I be segregated because you lack the ability to open your mind and learn about the topic in which you are preaching? Right? Pat McCrory is such a scum piece of shit. And I'm saying it because it's true. It's not like, oh, I'm like Alex Jones and I'm going to say bullshit and make it sound like it's real. It's not, right? Alex Jones is a sociopath, a psycho, and needs counseling. Just watch any one of his episodes. He is batshit crazy. But Pat McCrory has been lying through his teeth, is doing misdirection, which was the form of this executive order that he pulled out of his ass, which actually did nothing. But people are like, oh, he's helping everyone out. No, he's not, because it's still illegal for a transgender woman who didn't change their birth certificate, which I have my birth certificate right here, and it says Catherine on it. Interesting. But there's one fuck up because my governor won't change the law. Now, in New Jersey, this has approached Governor Christie. It's approached his desk twice, and he's vetoed it twice, which would allow me and other transgender people to change the gender marker on their birth certificate without having to go through a $30,000 surgery, which requires at least 6 weeks of recovery time, requires a year in advance of scheduling. You require a lot of insurance companies, if they're willing to pay for it, you have to get 2 letters of recommendation by 2 different psychologists / medical professionals. You have to have been on some sort of hormone replacement therapy for at least a year. You have to be living full time as the gender that you say you are, which luckily all of those criteria I actually meet. But here's the thing. Why should I have to go through surgery just to change something? Just to add 2 letters to my gender marker on this birth certificate? To add F and E to my sex on this thing, I have to go through a $30,000 surgery. And I'm petrified of surgeries. I don't want to go under the knife. I'm scared to go under the knife. But my feelings don't matter because politicians know best, right? With Pat McCrory spinning it and spinning it and spinning it and spinning it in such a way where people are stupid enough to believe it. Transgender people pose no harm nor any danger to cisgender women and cisgender children. They don't. Historically speaking, if you were to look at any notable crimes committed by a trans person, you will not find any that were committed in a restroom, nor would you have find any of them where they assaulted another person in said restroom. You will find that, yes, there has been cases of a man, a guy who is cisgender, so he does not believe he is female. He does not believe that he's transgender. These guys who are crazy go into a women's room or something, and yes, there's been a case where a guy, videotaped a girl peeing or something like that, which is really disgusting and sick. But here's the thing. How does a non-discrimination ordinance allow them to do that? It doesn't. What they're doing is still illegal. And they don't give a fuck if trans people are allowed or not allowed into that restroom. They don't care. They're still going to go in. They're still going to take their video camera and do whatever it is they want to do. But why should my rights be restricted because there's a risk of somebody abusing it? Why? That doesn't make any sense to me. That's like saying, okay, we can't have welfare because someone might abuse it. Oh, we can't let people drive because someone's going to crash. Like, it really, when you look at it from a fundamental perspective, it is a completely stupid argument that people are making. And I think that there should be criminal charges for slander, for, I forget what the other word is, but basically where politicians are making statements that are not factual in any way, shape, or form. They're not. Same thing with these lawyers and these religious groups that turn around, like the Family Research Council, which is an anti-LGBT group because they're pro-religion, and that they fight every time someone wants to pass a bill that allows trans people to just go pee in private. They don't have to worry about being bothered. Every time an ordinance comes out that protects people like me, these religious assholes come out in droves, and they go and they do everything in their power to spin it in the wrong way, to make us look bad. And the point is that when you really look at it, we're not the ones who are bad. We're not. And you can't group sex-crazed men in with us. Because psychologically speaking, we're not men. We are not. There have been studies that have proven that my brain thinks in the same patterns as any other female. That if you were to force me to look at pornography, my brain waves would respond pretty much exactly the same as any other cisgender female. And they've done these studies, and they have come out conclusively proving that. They have studies out there showing when you dissect a deceased transgender woman's brain and a deceased cisgender female brain, there are a bunch of similarities. And this is the same case for transgender men. But people want to just completely ignore the facts, and they want to throw in their own opinion as fact and just start prancing around screaming it. And it needs to stop. And, there are a few people out there, like Black Pigeon something, whatever. His video was complete horseshit because he took 3 extreme examples of someone who has some psychological issues and said, well, because one of them also identifies as trans, that means every transgender person is psychotic. That's not how it works. You can't say, oh, this trans person thinks they're 6 years old or lives life as a 6-year-old when their biological age is actually in the 50s. That doesn't reflect upon me. the way his situation or her situation is does not have any impact on me, because who I am is the majority. The majority of transgender people are of sound mind. This has been determined by the American Psychological Association. You go to the American Psychological Association's website, they actually have a Q&A, like common, frequently asked questions about transgender people. One of the frequently asked questions is, are transgender people mentally ill? And no, they're not. According to the American Psychological Association, transgender people are not mentally ill in any way, shape, or form. Is that saying that there can't be a single trans person who also happens to be mentally ill? No, that happens. We're not perfect. It's not saying like one ethnicity or one group of people is perfect. They're not. But by saying that, because one person is bad or one person has a mental illness, everyone does, that is like saying because one black guy kills something or someone, that means every black person is now all of a sudden a mass murderer. That way of mentality, unfortunately, used to be a problem back in the day. And again, like I have African Americans in my family. I have Hispanics in my family. I have Asians in my family. White people, obviously, I'm one of them. So I have a very racially mixed family. And the irony behind that is, in terms of religion, my mother is white and my father is Hispanic, which back in the day, that wasn't sanctioned by religious assholes at all. It was actually illegal to marry someone who wasn't of the same ethnicity as you. That used to be a thing. And it was a stupid thing, because I don't understand why color or race matters. It shouldn't matter at all. If you love someone, great. And that's the same thing for gays and lesbians. If you love someone who happens to be the same gender as you are, great. It's great that you actually found someone that you love and that you cherish and that you want to spend the rest of your life with. But instead, you have religious people out there screaming, sin, you're going to hell, God's coming to burn everybody, and the world's going to blow up somehow because you're allowing someone who loves another person to actually spend the rest of their life with them. And it is such a hypocritical thing, because I was raised in a Lutheran family. I was raised with the Lutheran faith, and I don't believe in religion. I think religion is horseshit. But I did it because I was forced to be in religion. I listened to everything. I've read the Bible. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. But I don't stop other people from practicing their faith. I don't. If you want to go to Sunday school every single day, or you want to go to Sunday Mass every single week, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. If you want to read the Bible to yourself and to your children, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. But you're trying to stop me from using the restroom, which I have a fucking right as an American in this country. I have the right to use public facilities. I do. I'm a human being. And just because you don't agree with the fact that I'm transgender, you're going to go around and try to change laws to make my life, which is already hard, that much harder? I mean, it's beyond ridiculous that these people do it. And they claim, it's my religious convictions. I'm sorry, there is a fine line that they are crossing. They're crossing that line every time they're trying to push their religious beliefs onto others. The First Amendment says, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. By respecting an establishment of religion is what Ted Cruz is doing. What other politicians are doing. By saying that we need religious freedom and all that, you're respecting an establishment of religion. You're allowing religious values and religious beliefs to trump laws. If someone says, hey, I bake a cake and I don't want to bake a cake because I think you're gay or whatever, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. And people who think, they should be allowed to because religion and this and that, and we're a free market, blah, 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 blah. But the way the law is written, if you're offering public services, you have to offer the same public services to any group of people. You cannot pick and choose which one you want to serve. You can't do that. And honestly, when you really think about it from just a basic way of thinking, how is the baker impacted negatively? How is their religious values impacted negatively by making a cake for a gay couple? How? Like, no one can explain that. And if they're like, oh, but then it feels like I'm the one getting gay married, well, then if that's how you think it is, you need help. Because no one is holding a gun to your head and saying you have to get married to a same-sex couple. No one's saying that. They just want a cake like any other person. And so what? You know, you could still make the cake. If you don't want to write the name, fuck it. Go for it. Don't write the name. Just give the icing to the couple that wants it done, and they'll do it. But don't refuse a service on the grounds of religion, because that really just makes you look like an asshole. Same thing with that barber shop that wouldn't cut a transgender man's hair. Because, oh, well, I can't cut a woman's hair. It's sacred. Blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's bullshit. Because you don't see transgender people turning around and saying, nope, you believe in a God, fuck you, I'm not going to help you. No. If a religious person needed my help, I would help them in any way I can. Within reason. I say within reason because I'm not going to just throw money at them. You know, I'm not going to let them live here. But the thing is that I think a lot of religious groups are very hypocritical. It's a do as I say, not as I do kind of mentality. And this carries over to our politics. It carries over to our litigation. It carries over to a lot of aspects. But here, I want to set the record straight. If you've actually watched this video to this point, congratulations. But here, transgender people are not mentally ill. A transgender woman is a male to female transsexual. Transsexual means that someone is actually transitioning either medically or societally to their new gender. Transgender is not a choice. I didn't want this. Trust me, if I had a choice, I would definitely pick anything but this. It is something that I've dealt with my entire life. If a parent allows a transgender child to transition, that is not any way, shape, or form child abuse, even though the American College of Pediatrics, which was actually founded by religious people. 60 people used to be part of the American Academies of Pediatric back in 2003. But when American Academies of Pediatrics turned around and said, hey, we sanction same-sex couples adopting children, that we think there is nothing wrong with that, 60 members of that organization said, whoa, wait a second, I don't agree with it. So they went ahead and turned around and created their own organization with a play on words, because American Academy, American College. College and academies are kind of grouped in the same thing. So that's all they did. They created their own organization that was based strictly on the beliefs that, nope, man, woman, then you can have children. And from that point, they come up with bullshit studies that are actually disproven. That, you know, they just turn around and say, ooh, transgender is a hot topic. Hey, if you're a parent of a trans child, you're abusing them by allowing them to be who they are. Right. And then the same thing where there was another psychologist that was portrayed by Black Pigeon Speaks. And this psychologist happened to be a conservative evangelical Christian. And his studies have been proven to be false. And this is the constant case. Anytime you are looking for reasons to deny a transgender person their rights, a lot of times you're going to find that there's no evidence backing up why you should block them from being who they are. In my particular case, my parents despise me for being transgender. They do. I'm not on speaking terms with my family. We get into constant arguments when we actually do speak, and neither one of them actually cares enough to put their feelings aside for my sake. So, and that's the constant story. I know plenty of transgender people here in Las Vegas, and I can tell you that a lot of them, the story is the same, where their parents do not respect them for it, that their parents have even shunned them and outcast them and kicked them to the streets. So I don't understand where these people are like, oh my God, this mother is abusing her child because she's allowing her child to be trans. And it's not a matter of allowing or disallowing someone. Again, being transgender is not a choice. Someone doesn't just wake up and say, hey, fuck it. I want to destroy the world by being someone I'm not. That's not how it works. My entire life, I felt like I needed to be a girl, and I could not control that. I've gone to psychologists who have said, well, you're transgender. You need to be you. You need to become who you are on the inside. And I've been happier ever since. Yeah, I've dealt with the fallout of losing friends. I've dealt with the fallout of family members being assholes. Like one of my family members for my birthday said, well, I don't know if it's your birthday or if it's your old name's birthday. Well, you know what? Fuck you. It was my birthday. You could have wished me a happy birthday, but you didn't because you wanted to be an asshole. And that's how people are. But the point is, I'm happy in my own skin. I'm happy that I look like a female. I'm happy that in public people treat me authentically as a female. Fuck, I've been flirted with guys. Now, I'm still single, and I don't necessarily care much for guys. So I did turn the guy down. I didn't give him my number or anything, even though he was trying to get it from me. But again, like, I love being treated authentically because this is who I am. I've always been a girl forced to live the life of a guy. And I say forced because that's how society is. Take, for example, my little brother's having a kid. At first, they thought they were having a daughter. So already people are like, ooh, she's going to be a princess. She's going to be beautiful like her mother. She's going to be like this. She's going to be like that. And then a few weeks later, they find out, oops, we actually figured out we're having a boy. And then everyone turns around and says, oh, he's going to be great at sports. He's going to be great at this. He's going to be so strong like his dad. He's going to be handsome. So the child isn't even born yet. And people are applying gender stereotypes onto this child. This child isn't even born yet. So what if this kid is transgender like I am? What if? What if this kid is on the inside just wishes they were a girl, wishes that they could do stereotypically girly things, but they have parents and friends and family that's guiding them and telling them, no, you have a dick, therefore you're a guy and you have to do guy things. Because that's what my life was like. I was afraid to express myself. I was afraid to just be myself out of the fear of being ridiculed, out of the fear of being, just tossed aside and kicked out of my home. These are fears that I had ever since the age of 7. Because I wanted to be a girl. I wanted to be treated authentically. Simple things like I wanted to do figure skating. I've always wanted to do it. It's too late now. I'm 27 years old and I can't do that anymore. It got really dark and late, so I had to put on more light. But I wasn't allowed to do what I wanted to do. And I just think that people need to understand that. They need to understand that just because I was born a certain way according to a doctor, I should not have been forced to live the life of a guy. I would have been much happier if I was treated authentically as a female. And the fact that I am, that's why I moved away. Here in Las Vegas, people don't know what I used to look like. People don't know, how I was growing up. So it was an escape. It allows me to be me. And I love it. I love going to a dress shop and trying on a beautiful ball gown. I love that. I love, the thought of actually being good at ice skating, but no, I haven't tried. But yeah, I'm me. And I think that, you know, just because I'm trans doesn't mean I'm not a woman. I really am a woman. In my heart and soul, I am a female. And the fact that people based my likes and dislikes strictly off of what they saw between my legs at birth is sickening. It is a flaw in society. Yeah, 99% of the time, you'll be right if you say, oop, it's a dick, there's a boy, oops, it's a hole, it's a girl. Yeah, 99% of the time, you're going to be right. But it's that 1% of people that you're wrong. Because the brain dictates who you are, not what's between your legs. So, if you guys have actually watched past everything, I mean, this is a half-hour video. I really appreciate it, giving me a chance to speak. But I just hope that things start to go right, because it is scary being a transgender person in a country that is doing everything it can to discriminate. And, the thing is, I'll never go to North Carolina and any other state that turns around and makes a law that discriminates against me. You will never see me in your state. And, I'm lucky that I live in a state. I live in Nevada. Nevada has had transgender protections since 2011. And in Las Vegas, there has never been a problem. I've actually spoken to countless police officers. There's never been a problem with allowing transgender people into women's spaces. So take care, guys. Look out for future videos.